So this is a sketch map of Canada, and like I told you in the first tutorial, it's important that from these CDs into your notebooks you try to sketch out the different maps that we give you, because I told you in exams the skill of map drawing is an important aspect which is tested before they mark any sketch map you've drawn. They first look out for the outline, the sketch. If it is right, then they mark what is inside. If the sketch is wrong, then they don't mark anything that is inside. So it's important for you to keep practicing these maps in your notebooks. Don't just read, don't just view and leave this work on the CD. Transfer especially the maps into your notebooks such that you develop that skill of map drawing, which is an important skill during your answering of the exams. So this is a sketch map showing the major relief regions of Canada, which we've verbally outlined above. And from the west, we said we have the Alaska Ranges, we have the coastal ranges or the coastal mountains, we have the Cascade Mountains, and then a region comprising of the Rocky Mountains as you come to the interior. This is the island of Vancouver. You must have looked at this, and the Queen Charlotte Islands when you're looking at British Columbia as a region of Canada as your first topic, or one of the first topics that you looked at in Senior 2. Then from the Rocky Mountains into the interior, we have the Great Canadian or the Interior Canadian Plain. And then to the east, we have the Canadian Shield. And finally, we have the Appalachian Mountains in the eastern part of Canada. So this is the sketch map which shows the relief regions in Canada. And like we said in the introduction, the areas bordering Canada, we say the Great Lakes, they are here, and River St. Lawrence, which are in the eastern part. Then we talked about the Baffin Sea, we talked about the Pacific Ocean, we talked about the Hudson Bay is around here. Then Greenland, which is this area here. This area here is Greenland with so many islands, for example the Baffin Islands. So this is briefly the relief of Canada as a country. And this part of the western part of Canada has a network of mountains which we call the volcanoes. For example, we have Mountain A, which is Mountain Mackley, then Mountain B, which is Mountain Mackenzie, and then in the Canadian Shield we have some hills, mountains, for example the Letian Mountain, which is marked Mountain 3. So that is the relief of Canada. The drainage of Canada also varies. Canada as a country has a number of rivers and lakes, and examples of these rivers include River Yukon, which streams or which drains through Alaska into the Pacific Ocean. Then we have River Mackenzie, which flows northwards into the Arctic Sea. Then we have River Churchill, which equally flows northwards into the Hudson Bay. We have River Columbia. This one flows through USA into the Pacific Ocean. We have River Fraser, which also flows into the Pacific Ocean. You should have looked at these two rivers when you're looking at British Columbia. So these ones drain from the interior of British Columbia into the Pacific Ocean. Then we looked at River St. Lawrence, which we said flows eastwards across the borders of USA and Canada, starting from the Great Lakes and flowing into the Atlantic Ocean. Then we have River Ottawa. When you're looking at the St. Lawrence Seaway, we looked at this river is a branch or a tributary of River St. Lawrence. So it joins River St. Lawrence, and both drain into the Atlantic Ocean to the east. In addition to the rivers, this country has a number of lakes. For example, there is the Great Bear Lake, the Great Slave Lake, Lake Manitoba, Lake Winnipeg, Lake Reindeer, Athabasca Lake, Williston, the Great Lakes, which are in the eastern part, among others. And below, we summarize these lakes and rivers on this map. And like I said, it is important for you to keep practicing. So this map shows Canada's drainage, the Bering Sea, the Beaufort Sea, the Arctic Sea, the Hudson Bay towards the northeast. Then we have the Gulf of Alaska, this part here, and this area here is Alaska. So this enclosure here, or the extension of the land into the water into the land, this area here is what we call the Gulf of Alaska. And then we have the Pacific Ocean this side. Then we have a number of rivers within: River Fraser, River Columbia, River Stanley, then River Yukon, River Mackenzie, the Back River, River Churchill, the most important here. Then we have River Athabasca draining into Lake Athabasca, this one, or Lake Manitoba. Then we have Lake Winnipeg, the St. Lawrence River draining from the Great Lakes. Then Lake Reindeer, the Great Slave River, Main Lake, then the Great